I recently hit my first 6 figures online, helping other people do the same organically across Instagram and LinkedIn. And I'm going to show you the 5 things, the 5 key elements that I learned along the way. Hopefully, you can apply them to your own business too. Lesson number 1, it's more about what you don't do. As business owners, there's so much to worry about. There are so many different hats you have to wear. You have to do the sales, you have to do the lead gen, you have to do the content creation, all the marketing, the scheduling, the writing, the posting, you have to do the operations, you have to do the finances. It's a lot. So the best thing you can do is try and be in 2 places at once.
That's us.
And one of the things I learned pretty early on was that you can do that by either outsourcing or automating. Automation's absolutely amazing. There are a few different things I do in my business that help save me that time, but they can be superseded by outsourcing to the right people, so hiring in specialists. I had someone help me with my YouTube. I brought in an email marketing specialist for some of my funnels. When I go to use ads, I'm going to hire in an ads specialist, because trying to learn all that on your own and deliver it as well is just taking up time. And if it's something that you're not a specialist in, it's going to take you even longer, and it won't be as good or as effective as bringing in a specialist. Also, bringing in a team, starting to put together the bones of a team. Now, as early as I could, I brought in a VA who just helped me with some low-level marketing activities. Now they help me cross-platform. But at one point, I asked my wife to join me, and now she helps with the finances because she's got an accounting background, which again is amazing. So that helps me out a lot. I don't have to worry too much about sorting the finances and arranging that side of things. I can purely focus on what I'm good at, which is content marketing and sales. But it's not just my wife that I brought on. I also have a client success manager now too. Someone who came through my content to clients program, excelled like 4 or 5 extra revenue, and we got on really well. So I asked her if she wanted to work with me, and she said yes. And now she knows the program inside out. She looks at it from a slightly different angle than I do, and it's really, really effective. And again, just saves me time. I can be in now 3, 4 places at once in a way. And we're starting to see the structure of a team. But the whole reason behind that is, as I said, it's more about what you don't do. This is a game of reduction and subtraction rather than adding in and adding in and adding in. Loads of people have this misconception that the best entrepreneurs do everything. Yes, they do, but they don't do it themselves. The other thing they do is reduce their focus. So they focus on one singular thing. And my advice to you, and it's something I'm so glad I did, is just look at one social platform at a time. Don't try and be everywhere. Being on TikTok and on Instagram, running your Facebook group and having a YouTube channel. Yes, I know I'm doing all of these things, but that's because I've got the systems and the people underneath me in place to help me do that. Until you've got at least a VA or some form of marketing assistant, don't try and spread yourself too thinly. Lesson number 2, content doesn't have to be hard. Now, I thought I could hack this, okay? I'll be upfront. I thought I could take my Instagram content, and I had about 8 months of it, and start LinkedIn, and that content would fly because it was really well designed, because the message was good, because it was a popular topic. I thought I could take the exact carousels and single images and transfer them directly onto LinkedIn. That was not the case. Each platform has its own nuances and guidelines, and the algorithms are all slightly different. So this was one of the biggest mistakes that I made, but I learned it quite early on when I wasn't getting the reception that I thought I should get. I realized that LinkedIn was much more about the writing and the written message and the caption that sat alongside a media piece like a carousel or a single image. So just beware, not every single piece of content that you make for one platform is going to fit onto another. You also need a content machine. And now what do I mean by this? What's a content machine? Now, if you think about a machine, it's something that gets the job done quicker or without too much human input. Again, we're buying back time, okay? So how can you come up with a system where you don't have to think too much and it also doesn't take too much hands-on work to deliver? Well, I started by listing out my content pillars and then applying formulaic and templated headlines, putting my own twist on them, and then working from there. And there was one point where I wrote one long form article, and it gave me 17 pieces of content in loads of different formats. I turned one article into an email, I turned it into a YouTube script, I turned it into an article on LinkedIn. I then broke it down into 5 different points and filmed reels out of them. Then I made the reels into tweets, so just short form written. Then I made a couple of carousels. And then I actually made a long form video about that process. And now I'm talking about it again. This loop just continues.
We've been through this loop 87 times, or I should say 87 that I know about.
Once you've got your consistent topics or content pillars nailed down, you're able to come up with countless content ideas. And that, again, as I say, is buying back your time to allow you to focus on more important things. If money is the goal here and scaling is the goal as well as delivering results, then you don't have hours to be messing around with content each day. Content's just one piece of the puzzle. Yes, it's a very, very important part of your marketing, but it's not the be-all and end-all. The three things that matter are generating calls or generating leads, converting those leads, and then delivering results to your clients. That's it. So content is important, yes it is, but it's tiny in comparison to the main tasks. The third lesson, run everything off your calendar. I don't know a successful business owner who doesn't utilize their calendar pretty much on an hourly basis. They know where they're up to, they know what their priorities are, and they have them scheduled. Bad things happen when you're disorganized. Things get forgotten about. Mistakes get made. You arrive late. It's really, really imperative that you use your calendar to its full effect. And what I like to do to make sure that I'm using it effectively is to sit down on a Sunday, only takes 20-30 minutes, and I will time block. I will put in the main priorities for that week, which are already predetermined because I've done some planning, and then I'll schedule things in. So firstly, I'll start with the non-negotiables. When am I exercising? When am I eating, showering? When am I taking my daughter to school? When am I picking her up? After that, that gives me the available hours. So I'll then look at what are the top priorities business-wise, and I'll put them into the diary, and I'll make sure there's space for calls and things like that. But time blocking is one of the best things I've ever done, and I highly recommend it. If you want to be successful in your business, you need to have full control of your time. Lesson number 4, putting self-care first. Now, I mentioned a second ago about the non-negotiables, okay? And that should be 3 things. That should be your sleep, that should be exercise, and that should be your diet, okay? Sleep, so important. And if you don't have one, I would recommend getting hold of an Oura Ring. It's a great alternative to an Apple Watch, so I no longer wear my Apple Watch. Obviously, I can't tell the time on a ring, but apart from that, the tracking is so much better. The app is better, I think, as well. It will tell you about your recovery rate, whether you need to take it slow that day, and it will also tell you when it's time to go to bed. But it tracks every single movement, so you can even track your heart rate when you're going on a run. So this has really, really helped me get in tune with my sleep, alongside removing the TV and my mobile from the bedroom, alongside getting sunlight as early as possible in the day. Sleep is the most underrated factor, and you're probably going to lose a bit of it, especially at the start. So as soon as you can, start trying to claw that stuff back. Diet, again, big one. Don't overeat. If you overeat at lunchtime or in the morning, you are going to start to feel sluggish, and this happened to me a lot. So now in the morning, I eat 3 eggs, 1 piece of toast, spinach and hot sauce. For lunch, it's rice and chicken, and then my wife cooks tea or dinner at night time. Then I may or may not have a dessert. But if you're overeating, it really is going to halt your progress. So I would recommend getting in touch with a nutritionist or someone who can actually help you put together a structured meal plan. Again, if possible, get help with meal prep. Either get someone to do it for you, or make sure the meals that you eat are really fast to make, okay? 10 minutes or less, because you've not got time to sacrifice to go, where am I going to go and eat today? Or I'll just go down to the shops, or whatever it is. You buy stuff in, get it ready on the weekend, make sure when you're working, you're only spending a minimal amount of time prepping food and eating it. And of course, the gym. Exercising, really, really important. I've been into boxing for years. I still go a couple of times a week. I used to run a lot as well. I used to run 5 to 8K every single day because I was so obsessed with dropping the weight. But now I sort of switched to just lifting weights. And I didn't originally because I thought that I wouldn't lose any weight by doing that. Ultimately, you can. I think it's much better. So I've managed to actually shift a bit of weight and maintain muscle mass as well, which is fantastic. So I recommend going between 4 and 6 times a week to a gym or working out some kind. Now, if you're not able to, for whatever reason, then at least try and walk or try and get outside and move at some point, because every day that you work all the way through, you're not giving your brain that chance to escape, and that's probably going to stunt your creative thinking. So taking a break and exercising at the same time is almost like a double whammy, or killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And point number 5, there's only so much studying and learning that you can do. I must buy 2 books every month, and I never read them, ever. I've got tons. I've got so many just scattered around. I'll pick them up, look at them, and you know what? I feel like I've read most of it before. I'm really into self-development, really into business, sales, marketing, content, that kind of thing. But it's the same with courses. I've bought so many courses. I've spent thousands on mentors and courses and group coaching and things like that. And ultimately, they're all saying the same thing, a lot of them. So you've got to work out if buying that thing or learning that thing is actually going to kick you into action, because it's pointless learning something and not using it. And I've done it a few times, I'm guilty of this myself. I've bought a course, skipped to the best bit, just like I do with the book, then logged out, never logged back in again, even though it cost me £500. So if you're at that point now, you need to make a decision. What's the next investment that you need to make that will actually get you to do something? Because that's the most important part, is just taking action. All these people you see who've blown up online and are getting millions and millions or thousands or hundreds of thousands every single day, week, minute, month, year, whatever it is, all just chose to take action. So there's only so much studying and learning you can do, only so many courses you can buy before you just hit a plateau and you need to do something. So that was a big lesson for me. And hopefully you can take something from it too. Now, if you're someone that's got tons of questions still on how to make money online, then I recommend you watch this video next, where I break down the exact process of how I earn £30,000 a month using organic content on Instagram and LinkedIn. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you in this video next.